Hi everyone, I'm Dan from Somerford Associates. Welcome to this video where we're going to take an in-depth look at the infrastructure monitoring component of Splunk Observability Cloud. So what can we find in an infrastructure monitoring? It's a real-time monitoring and analytics for any scale of environment. Its streaming architecture and its custom metrics platform deliver near-instant visibility and faster troubleshooting for hybrid and multi-cloud setups. You have full-stack visibility, with seamless correlation between your hybrid infrastructure and your microservice, which paint a clearer picture, with in-context insights for directed troubleshooting with no context switching. You have real-time streaming analytics. When every second counts, only streaming architecture can ingest, analyze, and alert in seconds. You can blend logs and metrics for in-flight analytics from a single integrated dashboard. Speaking of logs, you can view your logs in context. By combining real-time metrics with logs that have already been ingested in Splunk platform via Log Observer Connect, you can get deeper insights of your cloud and faster root cause analysis, all in one centralized tool. You can manage your metrics pipeline by aggregating or filtering out the data you don't need. You can save engineering time that will be spent building and maintaining proxy systems and pipelines and reduce your total cost of ownership. It also boasts advanced Kubernetes monitoring. You can automatically discover and instantly visualize Kubernetes objects, their health and their performance with customizable dashboards and charts. So here we are in our Observability Cloud on the infrastructure page. We can see that this has been populated with lots of information about our infrastructure, but I think it's worth taking a brief aside to explain how we might get here. How do we get stuff populated into these dashboards? So we head on into data management. We're going to look at the available integrations, and we can see here a number of technologies and applications that the OTel collector can be deployed to. For example, if we were to try and deploy one on a Linux system, search for Linux, we just click Linux and it will bring us to a handy wizard. It will provide all the instructions we need and how to install the OTel collector on Linux, and then once you do that, the data will start flowing into Observability Cloud and into the infrastructure monitoring part. Navigate back to the infrastructure monitoring. At its core, Splunk Infrastructure Monitoring offers a unified platform for monitoring and managing diverse infrastructure components. This might include servers, networks, containers, or virtual machines. By consolidating monitoring data from disparate sources into a single pane of glass, Splunk Infrastructure Monitoring simplifies troubleshooting and optimization efforts, enabling organizations to maintain peak operational efficiency. So we can see here from our quick nav bar that we've got data flowing in from multiple public cloud providers, namely AWS, GCP, and Microsoft Azure. We also have information about our containers, whether they're Docker or Kubernetes in our case, and any other grouping of infrastructure that you might be interested in. So for this video, we're going to take a look at AWS. As I click onto AWS, we can see that there's a number of widgets that give us information about our AWS instances. We can see that there's 6 currently running and there's 4 critical alerts in there. What I want to take a look at is our EC2 instances. So if I scroll down here, we can see that there's 3,925 currently running and 54 critical alerts. So I'll use that as an example to show off some of the dashboarding. Once we find ourselves in our EC2 dashboard, we have a number of global settings that we can change. We have a global time picker, which is currently set to 1 hour. We have environment, service, and region. We could filter to a specific region that we're interested in or an availability zone, but we're currently going to leave it set to all. This is what we might call a multi-instance dashboard. It's going to give us an overview of all our EC2 instances. By default, it's loaded into the table view, which is fine. We could click through and see that there's an instance here in AP East, and we can get information about the CPU utilization from here. However, the view I really like is the heat map view. So here we go. Each of these squares is an AWS region, and as I hover over, we can see that. each of these color-coded boxes is actually an EC2 instance. So we can see here that it's colored by CPU utilization, but we could change that to any of the metrics that we're currently collecting. It's grouped by AWS region, as we saw before, and if I was to hover over one of these instances, like this red one here, we can see that it's currently up to 94% utilization. So the colours we've got here, green, yellow through to red, indicate good and bad, and of course these thresholds can be modified. As I scroll through the dashboard, we can see a number of statistics about our EC2 instances. It's important for me to say that these dashboards come right out of the box, so if you're collecting against EC2 instances, there are a number of pre-built dashboards already there. So if I stop here at CPU utilization, because we do know we have a problem with that one, we can see here this little red triangle that an alert has been triggered. If you wanted to investigate these alerts, we could click up here in the top right corner where we have alerts and active detectors, and it will bring us a list of the alerts that have been triggered within our time window. So we can see that we have 48 critical alerts, and the first one we can see at 4 PM was a sudden change in CPU utilization. So these alerts and detectors, some are pre-built, and you can also define your own. So I'll just close that away. I've got this little sidebar open here because it's really cool and it's something I wanted to show off. As it says here, there are a number of services running on these instances. So we can see we have an Apache service running on our EC2 instances. So if I was to click on Apache, it will take us through to our Apache web servers dashboard, and we'll get all the information about the Apache web servers that are currently running. We just click back out of here to bring us back to our EC2 dashboard. I'm going to hit the heat map button straight away. As it loads in, I said before, this is a multi-instance dashboard that provides an overview of all our EC2 instances, but if I wanted to focus down on one, perhaps one that's been a little bit problematic, we could hover over this little red dot here, and we can see that it's sitting at 100% CPU utilization. So I'll just click that, and it will bring me through to a single instance dashboard that will give us all the information about that EC2 instance. So we can see here that we're setting up a very high CPU utilization. The other metrics aren't being collected by the auto collector. What we can see about this EC2 instance is all of the AWS default tags. So all the information about this instance and when it was started, and some custom tags that we might have added when we're bringing it into our observability. So it lets you really focus in on each EC2 instance and figure out where the problem might be. Heading back to our EC2 overview dashboard, there's just one more thing I'd like to show you. As we scroll down the dashboard,